I don't know how to greet in any other languages right now, but my name is Lerai, and this is my lovely co-star, Mr. Sibu Mpanza. It's about time I ask you how you're doing. So how are you, Sibu?
Thank you. It feels good. I'm good. I'm very excited for today's guest. I've been waiting for this for a very long time.
Who do we have on the show today?
Listen, one of the reasons I was so excited to do this podcast is because I was going to get to meet some amazing people. And this person is not only talented, but they are also, and I've never used this to describe somebody, fabulous.
Oh.
Today, we have Lala Hirayama in the studio.
Wow, guys. What a boost for my ego. Thank you so much.
We got you. How are you doing?
I'm actually all better now that I'm sitting here in such a lovely company and behind such a fantastic, or in front of such a fantastic brand, and ready to rock and roll and chat all good things and inspiring things and beautiful things.
We are going to do exactly that. Now, as you know, this is all about the state of the strong.
Yes.
And we're going to test your strength of knowledge or how quick you can be with the things. So we're going to play a game called 60 Seconds of Strong, right? I'm
60
going
seconds
to
of
hand
Strong.
you a little card that has a prompt for you to say. So you read out what's on the card and finish off the sentence, basically. You have 60 seconds, and I'm going to tell you the number that you need to beat, right? Because here we don't just
play for fun here.
We don't just play for fun.
It's not a game.
This is
Shock, guys. Yeah, I thought I was going to have fun. And
No.
game.
This
I
is
thought
not
this
a
was-
fun
this is
podcast.
the
This is not a fun podcast. This
We
is a
are
hard,
bulls
tough.
out here.
Okay.
brand,
We are
guys.
bulls,
This is
right?
brand.
Okay, so Mr. Mpanza is going to be on the timing, and I'm going to hand you. You have 13 to beat.
13 seconds.
No. You have 60
13
seconds.
cards.
13 cards.
To beat.
Oh, I've got to go through them all.
Yeah.
Okay, within...
The goal is more than 13, but you know, do take it at
trust
your own
you.
pace. But
I trust you.
Okay.
if
Ready.
you want to be the winner,
Okay, you're keeping time.
I'm keeping time. You've got
Are you
60
ready?
seconds.
Okay.
Put one in her hand, Shim.
it's not like
3, 2, 1, go.
If I were an animal, I would be a horse. CBD Twitter is tough. My current wallpaper is money. I'm a 2000R CDJs. Video call versus phone call, video call. Most used emoji, smiley emoji. When I sing, I sound like Whitney Houston. If I were president for a day, y'all would know about it. My biggest strength is my legs. The youth of South Africa are pure fire. How old is your Vaslap? What is that? I got my first tattoo, don't have one. The last meal I had was rice and fish. Facebook is horrible. Ndoda must stop being so Ndoda-ish. In 5 years' time, I would like to be a mommy. Money is life. Love is everything. Instagram is inspiring. South Africa is beautiful.
10 seconds.
Social media is a mess. This week, I don't know everything my best friend does. To me, strength is in the heart.
Time. What in the world just happened?
I had this jar is practically empty,
I was
guys.
worried you were gonna run
It's
out
only-
of prompts.
I couldn't. She was too fast for me. My hand was like.
Wow. Okay. I think it's time to count.
Okay.
Because wow.
Would you like to do the honors?
Wow.
Okay, let's do it. Here we
Count
go.
fast. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
All right.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen.
24, 25.
We have 2 extras. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the Bull Brand podcast. That is it for State
Yes,
of the
thank you
Strong.
so much for coming
Thanks
to
for
my
coming.
podcast.
We're done.
She just absolutely killed
We're
it. That was
done.
the last and final episode. We'll see you guys next time with season 2. Because what the hell was that? That was impressive.
Listen, guys, we're gonna need to get a new jar.
I think so.
We're gonna need to actually amp it up in here because Lala just really put
I want to fight one thing though.
what
Lala, you don't know what a Vaslap is.
What's a Vaslap?
Vaslap.
Buzz.
face cloth.
Oh.
How old is your face cloth?
We'll let you answer
I
it.
don't have a face cloth.
What
guys.
kind
I
of-
have like
Are you like a loofah?
loofahs.
Oh,
I have
You're a
like
loofah
these
girl.
cognac
Let's
sponges.
go.
I have these what is it? It's like an Arabic
She is so
thing.
serious.
Right?
Yeah, no,
I got
serious,
that.
guys. Serious.
I love
With
that.
The beautiful regime.
I
Anyway,
love
it's
that.
not really working, but yeah, we got to
You
try.
know, I'm just gonna sit here like this.
I'm in shock. Like I said, guys, I've been a huge fan for many, many years. You are one of the reasons that I wanted to be a presenter.
No
to be
way.
quite honest,
Can I be
that's why I'm
honest?
not
Means a
even
lot.
joking. Yeah,
Thank you.
you too.
Evens me.
We've got one of our inspirations in the room with us. That's
Stop
wild. You
it.
inspired a 27-year-old and a 19-year-old. Like, that's how much your inspiration spans, which I think is really, really incredible. I want to know from your side, how did you even get into the game? What did that look like for you?
Sure. It was a very crazy adventure. I think everyone can kind of share, similar stories in the fact that you have this idea, this dream of what you want, and you go via, and you usually don't even end up there. You end up somewhere, but not exactly there. My dream was never to become a TV presenter. It was never really on my radar. I wanted to be a dancer. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to help people. I wanted to, actually, I just wanted to do that, really, a dancing doctor. And when I was 15, I came back from Japan and I was dancing and I was told about an audition to go for some dancing audition for a corporate job or something like that. And I went through, I had my sweats on, I had my CD, back in those days.
It's fine.
For me, I'm not 19.
It's okay.
And then I got to the audition and they handed me a script and there were 5,000 other people that auditioned for the same job. And I got the phone call that I got the job, and that's kind of where it started. And I never really, I didn't really go, oh my gosh, this is what I want to be famous. I didn't really look to be famous or look to be in the limelight, look to be in the entertainment industry in this way in front of the camera. I always wanted to be like a backup dancer for Beyonce.
I mean,
So Beyonce, if you're actually listening right now.
Yeah. No, Beyonce
Please,
does
I'm
listen
still looking to be a backup dancer.
Yeah. Last time I checked, Beyonce listens to State of the Strong. So
Obviously.
Yeah.
so you could definitely get the
Thank
next
you.
Coachella for sure.
Guys, let's do that. Let's actually get out of this pandemic and then let's go to Coachella.
Let's
Fair
just
enough.
finish it. You know what? We need to.
Bull Brandt.
We need to
What are
sort
you
it
doing
out.
next year, February?
Yeah, please. Will Brand takes us to Coachella.
Osho says this. The most attractive lion is the one that's hunting. The one that's doing it, the one that's in the driving seat, the one that's looking after themselves in their career, not who's looking out and trying to be inspired and wanting to be someone else that they're not. The one that's actually just doing it. That's pretty powerful. I don't think you need to know about other people's inspiration. Like, focus on you. You're doing such big things. Oh my
But
gosh.
that's also because we saw when we talk about you, and I don't want to say this generation thing like you're like much older, but you guys you're just a couple of years old. But you guys were like, for me, in terms of people I looked up to, presenters for me were the coolest people on earth.
Literally.
Like,
Do you feel like there's now a difference because you were talking about how presenters are so important?
you see
or
how she's
cool-
working us?
No, guys.
You see how she's working
Wait,
us?
you're listening to
Lala
this.
being Lala.
I'm sitting here, my face is literally scrunching up. First she turned it on me and now
Yeah,
she's
now
like,
she's
no.
turning-
I'm
No,
gonna
wait,
stop
she
this.
can't help herself.
I need this
Yeah.
is a conversation. This is not even an
No, it
interview.
is.
This is a
Exactly.
conversation. And the reason why I want to ask this question is because I think it's something that a lot of us find ourselves contemplating. Now that there's this new era of YouTube and there's new social media platforms, has the era of presenters kind of come to an end? We are seeing a lot more people who are becoming well-known or celebrated in spaces that don't need these, commissioning editors to go, right, now you've got a show. Right, now you can have this platform because they're creating their own. Can you feel it as people coming up in the industry, can you feel the difference? Do you see a difference?
If I may, right? What I'm seeing is not necessarily, it's not coming to an end, nor is it coming out of style. It's more of the evolution of what that is. I like to look at, I used to look at presenters when I was a kid watching TV as media personalities. And I think that's why Sibu said that he found them so cool, is because we got to sort of we got to understand your personality and we got to get to know you guys for who you were, as opposed to seeing our favorite characters on television. Yeah. And that is amplified so much more right now with the age of YouTube and social media. What's different now is that we own our platforms, you know? But I think also our audiences are our audiences and we connect a lot more with them. And so the space actually is growing because there's room for everybody to follow somebody that they're interested in when they want to watch them and to get the content that they want from. It's so much more personal.
Yeah. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. So I come from the YouTube first side. I started on YouTube, then on TV. And to be honest with you, I think it's all presenting. I think you guys don't realize that what you did, what YouTube is right now in South Africa is just like from you guys laying the groundwork years and years ago. It's just that we understand that it's very difficult to get on TV. It's very difficult. Like you said, there's a lot of red tape. But I think what's happening now is so many young South Africans are looking at YouTube as a place where they can practice that craft in a way that they want to. So I think I agree with you. I think it's actually growing. I think more of us are becoming presenters to the point where when they look for people to present podcasts, they go, who speaks well on YouTube? Who's doing A, B, and C? Who knows how to create good content? So honestly, I feel like it's growing. I don't feel like it's dying. Yes, maybe there's less people you'll see on TV, but I think what you've done is birth like hundreds and thousands of like presenters. It's just that they're all online because that's what they know. Yeah.
Well, shout out to Bull Brand for putting this together so that we can have this platform to converse and have cool conversations.
Okay, wait. We need to turn this back onto you because that thing that you just did, that just proves, guys, that she knows what she's doing. Yeah. My heart literally I started getting hot.
I was like, am I getting interviewed by Lala?
I was like, no, man, this is not what I was prepared for. But anyways, I need to turn it back on you.
All right.
I asked you this earlier, but I really want to know, where does the name Lala come from? Because everybody has stories behind their names. Like Sibu, okay, I don't know what yours is, but mine, I have a... No.
She's doing it again.
Because I don't have conversations here. It's like a job interview.
Okay, let's do this. You tell me your story and then I'll tell you mine. Because yours is way more interesting than mine.
No. Lala, everyone either pronounces Layla, Lala. It's...
Can I actually ask, have you ever been just called Ulala?
Ulala,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I figured.
And then everyone's like, oh, are you tired? Okay, wow.
Oh my goodness.
Oh god. But if you go to like different areas in the world, they have Lala means something in many different places.
Sure.
But the origin story of my name is that my dad went and lived with Osho, and Osho was a really big guru back in, I think it was like the 60s, 70s, and maybe even the 80s. And there's actually a documentary, very controversial, called Wild Wild Country on Netflix, and talks about his life. So he actually went and lived at this ashram in the middle of America. And he was an incredible guru who was largely misunderstood. But anyway, his message was to just love beyond boundaries, without red tape, without the do's and don'ts that society kind of puts on us, and to be authentic and to be beautiful and to be inclusive of everyone and everything. And there's a book of Osho, and in that book, there is a dancer. He speaks of a dancer, and her name was Lala, and she spread love and joy. She spread love and joy with her dancing all around different towns.
Spreading love and joy. Yeah, and that is exactly what she does.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Honestly.
Growing up, I used to think it was a nickname. I think for the longest time, I was like...
That's they're like, nickname. Oh, but what's your full name?
Yeah,
what's your full?
It's Lala. Okay, guys, that's what it freaking is.
So what's your story?
Mine isn't as like my parents just combined their names. So my mom is the creative of them all because like I don't have to think of anything, but it's a combination of their names. So my father's name is Lele, he's Sotho, and my mother's name is Nyarai, which is a Shona name, and they basically took that first half and that last half of the name, combine them, and there you have Lerai. So I like to, it doesn't really have a meaning, but I like to look at it as a sort of like coming together and being one, no matter where we come from, and just unity, right? And speaking of that, I love the fact that you are a global citizen. You have lived, I won't say everywhere in the world, but you're sort of the personification of what globalization looks like in a human being and what it means to
School, hey?
Wow.
Yeah, you got the model. Hey, yeah.
Okay. Damn.
Globalization.
How much do you think living in different countries and just having that exposure at the time that you were growing up, how much do you think it's impacted you into becoming the person that you are?
It's a very multi-layered answer that I have for this.
I'd love to hear. Let's peel the onion.
Let's peel the onion together. So, I think there's a lot to be said about culture, being patriotic, being a culturalist or someone who looks to follow their culture, learn about their culture. And in South Africa, I find that there are a lot of people who fight for their culture, but on the other side of, I suppose, the fence, there are people who are wanting to mix and mash and learn different cultures and apply certain learnings and teachings from one and incorporate it with others, etc. And that's that kind of globalization I think you're talking about. And there's two arguments there. One is that that's such a beautiful thing, and one is that no, you need to fight to keep the boundaries, the barriers. And I actually struggled with that for a long time, being very patriotic Japanese, but also being very patriotic South African. Then wanting to be a purist in a Japanese sense of taking my shoes off when I get home and not walking around, always walking barefoot, eating strictly Japanese food, speaking Japanese to my family, making sure that I learn about the culture and the traditions, etc., and living that way. But then there's that South African sense. We kind of struggle with identity, especially when you not belong to a clan, when you don't belong to Amazulu, you don't belong to, Xhosa or whatever. So then you start, where do I fit in?
Yeah.
And you see some of my friends are like, they're Portuguese, so they try and flock together. Some are Italian, they try and flock together. Then some people just mix masala. They don't even know what to, and that becomes, we are back at school, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I really, really love being of different cultures, and I love learning people's cultures and traditions and trying to, I sometimes struggle with cultural appropriation because I can understand the issues that come and that arise from people either wearing things or saying things or using things that don't belong to their culture and maybe using it in an inappropriate way per se. But I also can really appreciate that intention is so important. And if I intend to do something in a bad way, then it means something different too. My intention is good. My intention is inclusive. I might have got it wrong, but I'm also human, and I'm not trying to make your culture seem bad. I'm trying to include it into whatever I'm doing. So there's like all these like weird lines.
But what do you think sets Mzansi apart from a lot of the different places that you've been to or lived in? What do you think sets us apart from other people?
Look, I mean, it goes without saying, we have something that could either be a blessing, seen as a blessing or seen as a curse, which is a mixed, a culture of many different smaller cultures. We all kind of see ourselves as South Africans, and we all belong to different clans. And that is you don't really find that, like in Japan, everyone speaks Japanese. Everybody kind of follows the same kind of tradition. Sure, in different areas it's different, and there are clans within Japan, but for the most part, the food, the culture, the language is more or less the same.
Sure.
Whereas in South Africa, I think the diversity is so vast that we can learn so much from each other. And sometimes we choose it, and sometimes we don't, but that's okay. We are also, we are really seen as kind of the big brother or the elder of the African continent. And I think that's such a beautiful thing, a big responsibility to carry. But I think the biggest difference, I think, might be the youth. The youth in South Africa compared to the youth overseas. Everyone's outspoken, everyone's opinionated, opinionated.
Don't worry, we won't bring it up. Won't bring it up.
But there's definitely an energy and a I don't know, almost like a responsibility. We all feel like we need to prove ourselves more than other countries. We have more to fight for. We have more to, not to say that everyone feels this way, but the majority.
But those are all the influences that make us human beings and that make us who we are in particular. And one of the things that have been coming up a lot in our conversations here at the State of the Strong is really just walking in your purpose and just, what stems from that. And I want to take a few keywords from what I've heard you say. First of all, where your name comes from, that Lala in the book was spreading joy and love. And you mentioned the fact that you wanted to be a doctor and a dancer. And I think that if we put that all together, as much as you didn't become a medical doctor, the journey that you have been on as a human being and sort of you walking in that purpose has elements of that. I want to talk about your journey with PCOS, which I hope I'm getting it right, polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Yes.
Because you even have a on YouTube, it's the kitchen, your PCOS,
Yes,
which
TikTok
first of all,
kitchen.
I love cooking so much. And I love the fact that you brought what it means nutritionally to manage a syndrome like that. Can you please walk me through that journey? Because it's something that I think let's use this platform to spread awareness on that,
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, polycystic ovarian syndrome is an endocrine disorder. A lot of people think it's a gynecological disorder, but it's actually not. So it can affect men. But men are like, well, I don't have ovaries. So
Men are men.
No.
Men are
No.
men.
So it doesn't necessarily have to affect your ovaries. In other words, you don't have to have polycystic cysts. Anyway, so with PCOS, I was diagnosed when I was 27 years old. My body just kind of went haywire and I had no idea what was going on. I've been relatively healthy my whole life. I've eaten healthy. I exercise really hard. And at 27, something happened. I had a really stressful moment in my life. One of my family members passed away and I kind of lost control and my body just was not interested. And I felt completely out of control. And I went to an endocrinologist. At the time, I had no idea what an endocrinologist was, a doctor of hormones. And I went through and they did a couple of tests, super cold, super clinical. And they came back to me and they were like, well, you're pre-diabetic. You could have a heart attack at any second. You've got something called polycystic. You need to go see this doctor, that doctor. You need to get your ovaries checked. You need to you need to change your diet. And I was just sitting there and I just remember the tears coming down.
I want to cry.
It's coming at you. You're hearing all of these things and it's like, I'm going to die. That's my death sentence right there.
Literally felt like, exactly. That's what it felt like. And no one I knew had it, and no one I knew or no one that I spoke to could tell me much about it. I had to research a lot, and there wasn't at that time a lot of, which is ridiculous. I mean, this was 5-6 years ago. There wasn't a lot of, oh my gosh, it wasn't 5-6 years ago. It was more than that because I'm old. Okay. Anyway, carrying on back to Pcos. So polycystic ovarian syndrome affects 1 in 7 women around the world that is of childbearing age. 70% of women don't know that they have it. And that is a scary statistic. And it's a statistic that hasn't changed in 5 years because not enough doctors talk about it. Not enough doctors actually understand it, which is scary. And not enough women are talking about it amongst themselves. Women are incredible. We take on so much. And a lot of the time we don't take enough responsibility.
There's that word again. There's that word again.
There.
We're about to head out, but I really I wanted to ask you this. So you've had incredible longevity in the industry, and I don't know how long you want to work for, but it feels like you're still going to go for a very, very long time.
Thank you.
What do you think has kept you strong throughout all these years to be able to? Because our industry is scary. I've come in, first thing through the door you hear is, Sibu, be careful. You're about to go into the lion's den. So what's kept you strong throughout the years?
Just for anyone who wants to be in front of the camera, or even behind the camera, anyone who wants to be in the industry, in the entertainment industry, put your fingers in many pies. Like this.
Yeah.
Study. I didn't, but if you have the opportunity to, study. Start the businesses. Learn different skills. Every year, if you can, learn a new skill. Learn to edit. Learn to DJ. Learn to make films. Learn to make soap. Learn to do whatever you love, but learn skills. I think skills are, learn how to hold a camera.
Yeah.
Photography. The state of the strong. What is the state of the strong? People who are strong are people who want to continue to, not just to survive, but to thrive. And the way to do that is to grow.
Yeah.
Constantly water your garden. And your garden is huge. It's not this tiny, sorry. It's not this tiny little flower. It's multiple flowers and multiple trees. And you want butterflies and you want, Lala, and you want all sorts of things to grow. And so you have to spend time on you. It's nice to go out to the club. It's nice to go and have lunch and be fancy. It's nice to go shopping. But when it really matters, it's about staying in your good space, in a beautiful space, and growing you.
Wow. If you're listening to this podcast and not watching, I wish you could have seen our faces.
Right?
Please go watch it on YouTube.
Please go just for the reaction.
We're sitting like, do you remember when you were a kid and you were listening to your grand tell you stories and your face was literally at the edge of your seat and you were just like in wonder? That's what Lira and I were like just
Okay,
now.
wait. Now we have to ask her the main question.
Go for it.
This is the go-getter, the showstopper. What is your message of strength? Oh, my word. What is your message of strength to Mzansi?
Ooh, putting me on the spot here. Message of strong. Let me actually just digest this for a second. I think strength means different things to different people because we all come from different backgrounds. Yeah. My strong is somebody else's every day. And so it's a very individualistic approach when it comes to being strong. But holding true to your vision is so important. If you don't know where you're going, you're going to allow the universe to decide for you. And so I think strength is having the vision and keeping it close.
Yeah.
Fighting for it no matter what, at any cost, but in the right way. Never leaving your morals or your ethics, but fighting for it in the right way.
I wish I brought my notebook.
Sibu was literally like, yo.
I wish I brought my notebook.
No, guys, actually real quick, before we wrap this up. Yeah. What is strong for you?
Strong for me, that's something that, as in my very limited time on this earth, I've been struggling to learn and just grasp, because I was raised by a single mother. And so for so much of my life, I learned that strength means being independent, but independent in the sense that you cannot and will not depend on anybody else because there isn't anybody else to depend on. And therefore, you have to tough it out. You have to walk it off. We talk about things like mental health. Mental health is, you depressed, go depress them dishes type of situation. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so coming of age and really coming into my being a woman, a young woman, I spent so much of my childhood being a tomboy because I didn't know how to embrace my femininity. And so I think for me, what strength is, it's completely changed. It used to be, it had a lot of masculine qualities around it. It was super male-centric. And I've been learning that embracing your femininity, like I'm looking at Lala right now and she's just so feminine.
What is the word that I used when we started?
Fabulous. But not in a material way, but just very like she's really comfortable in her own space. And that's what I strive, because that's a strength. And that's what the strength of a woman is, to embrace the things that come naturally to you. So I can't tell you what my message of strength is, because it's going to change. But right now, for me, it's really embracing my femininity and being proud of it and just, walking in it and being a woman.
90? Are you sure you're 90?
Like interviewing yourself.
Look at that.
Yes, and you.
Oh, wow. What is strong to me? I think right now at 27, strength to me, I think is sort of... working for my future self I think I really struggle to do things for 30-year-old, 35-year-old Sibu. I don't think very much in the future. I think I grew up very much in survival mode where anything I do is for Sibu now. So I think I've had to learn now after my quarter life crisis that it's okay for me to think that, I'm still going to be alive in 5-10 years. Like it's okay for me to do things for myself then. So that's the big one for me. That's more of something I've just had to learn recently, to be honest with you, is that I can sort of think of my future self. I'm very much a survival person. Like ever since moving to Joburg, it's like, what are you going to do now? What's next week? What's happening? But I've got into the space now where I can sort of calm down. I've gotten things. I'm on a Bull Brand podcast, guys. I'm on State of the Strong.
You understand?
I've done something. So I think getting out of survival mode is also a show of strength to say that, to be able to sit back and be like, I've done a lot. I can be calm. And then take things as they come in the future. I think that's my strong, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
If I'm keeping it real with you guys, this conversation turned out completely different to how I expected it to.
How did you expect this conversation?
It just I don't know. It
was so wholesome.
That's literally, it was wholesome. It felt like, listen, as much as we had you, Lala, here, I think we got to tackle quite a few different topics and meaningful things in life, which I guess I didn't expect to. I thought it was going to be more about you.
I felt like I was talking to a big sister.
Exactly.
Yeah, I genuinely felt like I was talking to a big sister.
And that's, you know what? I think we're slowly defining what the state of the strong is. You know, it's we're on this journey. We're starting out, and I'm looking forward to what the rest of the show and this podcast is going to be like. Yeah. But we have to end it now because
but guys, shout out to you first of all. Shout out. You're holding it down so well. I love the vibe. I love the energy. Yes. And also, Bull Brand. Good choice. Very good choice.
Stop. Hey? You're making us blush at work.
I love it. Thank you so much for having me on the show, guys. It's been really, really cool. And it's such a nice kind of setup and such a great vibe.
Oh, man.
Well, that was the State of the Strong, a Bull Brand podcast with myself, Lerai, and Sibu Mpanza. We had Lala Hirayama on the show today, and please make sure that you stay tuned for the next episode. Whether you are streaming it while you are cooking your food or you're in the car, you're listening to it audibly, whatever it is, please stay tuned for the next episode.